Finish him off. If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for I was legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.
Woo! Season 3. The Boys. We got a lot to talk about. So with that said, before we get going with all the craziness, because there's enough to talk about. NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those places, hit that thumbs up. If you like what you're seeing, please, because that thumbs down don't even show up no more. All right? I don't even know where it's going. All right? Make sure to subscribe. All right? I'm your host. We're going to chill, kick it, get into The Boys. If you've never been here before, thank you for rolling through. Anyone early in the chat, like SA Animator up in this joint. And if you're on the replay, shouts out to you too. We're going to barbershop it up with someone right over here. All right? This young gentleman right here. If you can see the background, you already know. All right? You already know. There's some sorcery going down. I give you Solar Greye, the cinematic sorcerer.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing out there? This is Solar Greye, the cinematic sorcerer, and I'm coming at you from the Wizard's Tower. And yeah, I got the call saying, "Hey, can we talk about The Boys on Monday?" And I said, "You know what? We can do that. We can talk about them boys. We can talk about it. This merits discussion."
True that. And in the bottom square, I'm so happy that Well, I'm happy / not happy to have this guy because he knows a whole bunch of information I don't know, and I don't want to like accidentally get spoiled. But this guy, he knows things. All right, he knows things about the boys. All right, he even knows things about Invincible too, which I'll be like, all right, don't tell me too much. But I give to you, all right, the wisdom and knowledge filled one. Nate Miller, what's up?
Yo, what's going on? I'm very excited to talk about this show.
Good to see you again, Nate. I've been missing you,
Yeah,
man.
dude, it's been a while. It's good to see you too, Solar.
Oh man. So
Okay, to start this off, I'll just say, this show is back, and this show is crazy. I think this show is back, and this show is crazy. In a good way, but this
Both
show
of those
is
statements
crazy.
are true, objectively.
Yeah.
the show is
okay.
back. The show is crazy. That is good.
I'll start off by my favorite character due to my history with the actor. Will the stream care? Will everyone return from whence they came? Will that happen? Are we okay? I think we're okay. I think we might be able to get back. So
All right, looks like we're back.
Looks all right, cool. Looks like we're back. Everyone who had to endure the time out from the stream, I wanna apologize to you and tell you what happened behind the scenes. The way this happened is Vault Soul reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and they wanted to know if I would be so inclined to join their streaming service. I told them no, that all they did was serve up anti-Black content with Black faces on it, and that I would not be a part of it. And I don't care how many superheroes you got or how much money you got, I'm not selling out my soul to the man that's behind the man. And ever since, they have been attacking my internet service and my computer as well. And I just can't let that. I can't let them win. Don't you let them win. All right, so that's all I'm saying. Don't you let them win, though. You know what I'm saying? Just please, don't watch Vault Soul.
Wow. I gotta say, I appreciate your integrity, because they came up to me with that offer for just a second. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really support your corporation. Then I found myself in the desert, and he was standing over me, and he's like, I will kill you. I will kill your infant daughter. And then he cut a dude's throat with a box cutter and told me to get back to work, while the chick from Martin like licked the part that he had down his hair, and then he did some fraternity thing, screaming gamma the whole time. And I'm just like, all right, fine, just stop it with the stepping, so unfortunately I had to go in. I had to go home.
So
Took the deal. The money was really good.
He's like, the money's good.
I gotta eat.
No, it isn't real. I can only spend it at Vought Corporation owned places.
So, all right, back to Big Brother Almighty. I love that we're getting more information about him. I love that we're expanding his story. A lot of his story. I was like, oh snap! Oh, excuse me. So we got a lot there. I'm loving that we're still getting this push-pull between big corporate and big government. I enjoy that. And I enjoy all the crazy. I'll throw it out to Nate. First impressions. What are you liking from these first 3 episodes? How's it hitting you?
I mean, I would even argue with you and say that, big surprise. I would say that this, especially with these 3 episodes, I think the point is big government and big corporate are the same thing. Like that's like,
okay, yeah, I see where
there
you're
is
going.
no separation there. And this show, first of all, that first episode, like they just continually keep pushing just to see just how far they can go, and man, are they pushing. And you know what, kudos to the effects team, because all the stuff looks fantastic, but a lot I had to look away quite a few times in these 3 episodes. But yeah, outside of that, totally, thematically, it's been great. Like, especially, as comic book fans, like, I don't know about you guys, some of my favorite books are books that where like the stories are obvious riffs on popular characters that we know. So like kind of seeing what they would be like in another world, or if they were different, things like that. So getting introduced to the Payback team and having them on, I think has been really cool. The main cast, I think has really been very, very solid. I do feel like in some of the first 2 seasons, I don't want to say their performances were not good, but maybe a little shakier. Whereas I feel like now, especially the core like Butcher's group, he's got them all. Everybody knows who they are, and so I think, yeah, it's been really fun to watch. I can't wait to see where the rest of the season goes.
All right, Cinematic Sorcerer.
Well,
how you feel?
All right, so with the first episode back, it was very. Now, I didn't do what I normally do. All right, which is I go back and I watch the previous season like a week before the new one comes out.
Okay.
I just jumped right into this one. And I'm kind of going, oh yeah, I forgot what I was watching for a half a minute. I'm like, okay.
I forgot about how crazy this show is.
Oh no. It's a Garth Ennis property. So there is no forgetting how crazy this show gets, because it's like, hey, if you think this show is crazy, we're gonna take Ant-Man and we're gonna put him in a Ziploc bag. And I'm like, okay, all right.
He's like, gotcha.
shake. I'm like, wow. 30-something-year-old Al Pacino would have loved that. And I think Robin Williams for most of his career would have loved that. But I liked seeing the progression, like checking in on the Payback team, looking at where the 7 was, and catching up on the outcasts. Okay, the 2 outcasts being the Deep and of course A-Train. I'm like, all right, well, let's see how those 2 things go. This season is really showing how terrifying Homelander is. Like, the last couple of seasons have been like, this guy could be really bad. This guy could be, we kind of need the chick from Karate Kid. Maybe we can get the one from Karate Kid too. Huh? Somebody from the Karate Kid to come in and calm this dude down. And this season, it was just like, all right, this dude is absolutely terrifying. The actor who plays him is fantastic, just fantastic.
I agree.
I have never seen, and I said this on my show last week, I've never seen an actor pull such a convincing dead eye smile. Like, he's smiling for the camera, doing the whole press tour and the rehearsed script, and there is just no life.
Yeah, there's nothing. There's no excitement. There's nothing there.
Yeah, and it's like, wow, that is what a mask looks like. Oh my God, this actor is amazing.
Yeah, because I know him from Banshee.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, cool. I'll see him in this show. And first 2 seasons, it's like, he's pulling off this whole, like, he could kill you in the very next second very well. And now that he's like spinning, it's a whole, not only is he spinning, but now he's kind of found his I guess his core audience, which we'll get into later. But now, unfortunately, there's no stopping this. Well, I won't say that, because I have a question that I sort of want to answer, but don't want to answer because I know Nate knows everything. But we'll talk about that later. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just do want to say real quick that, like, yes, I've read the book. It's been a while, but especially with the stuff that's happened this season, it's all it is. Yes, it is all influenced by the book, but they're making their own path.
Oh,
You know, with different casting choices, changing some characters a little bit, like, and it all still very much fits within the themes and stuff, but it's not like a one-to-one thing with like the
No.
book. So I
No,
don't know
it's
exactly what's going to happen. There
yeah,
are
no,
certain
this is
things that could happen, you know, that are some things are inferred, but I also am very confident that, especially with what I've seen so far, that the showrunners know about the things that people have read in the books and might intentionally try to subvert them or like mislead people. So I'm just enjoying it as it is. It's
well,
yeah,
my
this is
thing.
definitely
Oh,
not a line by line adaptation.
no.
And I'm
okay.
glad. I'm really
Yes.
glad that it's not a line by line adaptation for two reasons. One, didn't like the source material. Again, I have massive problems with the writer. I'm just now getting over it, having heard an interview of what he really thinks of the comic industry, because I've been under the impression for about 20 years that the dude hates superheroes. And when you I put it like this. If you write stuff that says, I hate this stuff, if you hate your job, then get another job. Like I get
But
no, I
that's not
saw
the
the
s-
interview. Yeah, I saw the
okay.
interview where he said he didn't like the ubiquity of superheroes in comics and that he wants more genres of comics like there used to be, like romance comics and horror comics and western comics and romance comics. And I'm like, cool, all right. You have a terrible way of depicting it in your work because in your work, all I'm seeing is these comics that mean so much to the people putting food on my table are stupid and they're stupid and I hate it all. And I'm like, then quit your job, write novels and call it a day. So, but now that I know he doesn't feel that way, I can see a lot of the stuff as the protests that he wants to write and the satire that he's pointing out. It's just when it comes down to satire and protest, I have a statement that I tell people, especially our people, when I'm talking to some of our elders, when I say tough love without love is just punishment. That's all. And a lot of his work for a long time seemed punishing of comics and superhero comics, especially. So, you know, but now that I know he wants more genres of comics, I can see that coming out in his work, even his work involving superheroes. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take a good look on this. And but the second reason that I like that this isn't a page for page adaptation, I could go on about the regular stuff like it's a different medium and all that other stuff, but mainly The Boys was written 20 years ago in a different world. And this show, The Boys, the show, is written in modern times. Like the people that were too young to read the comic books are now the demographic for the show. So it's a whole different sensibility. And I think the showrunners are smart in recognizing that. You know, it's not just for edgelords, it's for Zoomers and the younger millennials out there, where The Boys were about like the bitterness of Generation X and older millennials. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a different sensibility, a different culture that the show is being written into. And I'm glad that the show is keeping that in mind, you know, and
they're doing a
staying
lot of
relevant.
they're doing a great job of touching a lot of stuff, and we'll
Yes.
go over because I guess we could say now we could get into the real review. Now we can we warmed up, we could get into the real review. Uh, it's hard to wonder where to start, but I'll start on something that I guess we can sort of cover slightly quickly because it's a smaller part, but I think we'll have larger implications later on. Dealing with the, would I say, sort of guardian or maybe fatherhood pressure.
Oh,
Maybe that's not the right way to put it,
we're
but
starting
kind of
off
like,
with Milk.
yeah, dealing with Milk and then seeing how Milk and I can't. I'm blanking now.
Butcher?
Butcher are kind of sort of on a similar path of like, okay, we got kids that are looking up to us. One is a biological child. One is like not a biological child, but you were with the woman that I was married to, and sort of like you would have been my kid kind of, thing. But they're both like dads and could be dads, but due to everything that swirled and surrounded their upbringing and brought them to the place that they're at, kind of doesn't allow them to really effectively even be there. And for different reasons, but you kind of get like, okay, like when Milk breaks down, you're like, yeah, I get it. And he's not really, and then also realizing that Soldier Boy might be alive, that like all of this stuff kind of like swells and comes to a point. Then you have Butcher, where it's more of maybe more of a protection kind of thing, or maybe protecting his own heart or own feelings, and he doesn't want to get too attached. Maybe I'm reading too far into it. Like, what you thinking, Nate? Because that's kind of how I see it. Is like, I don't want to get too attached. I like this kid. This kid likes me, but this kid is also in danger, and also sort of this kid kind of represents a piece of hatred that's taken over a large portion of my life, kind of thing.
I mean, I think it's a fair comparison to make. I think ultimately it'll be used to kind of show how different the characters are. I mean, obviously we know there's a big difference to them already, but yeah, they're kind of facing the same issue. The thing is, Butcher is like the ultimate utilitarian. So like he wanting to do what is going to be best is going to hurt people, and he's okay with that. That's kind of like what he does. So we see him kind of like trying to do something different, and then as people do, when you try to do something different, sometimes you stumble and you fall back into the old ways that you are. So the question is he going to just be like, yeah, actually, you know what, screw it, I'm not dealing with this kid? Or is he going to go, no, I shouldn't have done that, like I need to reconcile? Like there's that kind of play, I think, is going to be his like character arc for the season. But I don't know. I think it's especially interesting given that Huey too is kind of now in his like Butcher phase, like disillusioned. And I think that is going to make it harder for Butcher to decide if he wants to just go full force or if he's going to try and do a more kind of a nuanced approach with his relationship. So I think it's a very interesting setup for the character too, especially I like that conflict that we have of him now having, I forget the CIA lady's name, but that conflict that he has with her.
Grace Mallory?
Yeah, Mallory.
Yeah. All right, cool.
That conflict that he has with her as she's taking care of the kid who is actually Homelander's son, but with his wife, and like him being in that triangle of all this stuff going on, like I think is very a good testament to how the showrunners have kind of set up the plot lines to kind of go together. Because like with Butcher, he's kind of one note, right? So like you have to put him in interesting situations where the situations at least have a little bit of dynamic. So I think this is.
Oh, so hold on, you're breaking up. Like you went out.
Oh. I think your mic cable needs to be pushed back in. Not quite yet.
No.
There we go.
Hold up.
Okay, that's like the opposite.
See, man. See what happens when you Edgar? He gonna get you, boy.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe we should let Edgar make us chicken. I don't know. I'm good until he pulls out that black lightsaber. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say two things. Since oh well, no, I know Solar. I wanted to jump to you for any fatherhood type stuff, any things that you would, because I didn't want to skip you on that. And I got a couple things that I'm just going to throw off, like rattle off real quick.
Yeah. So the theme of fatherhood goes pretty deep in this season. All right. We've got the theme of Butcher not wanting to be like his father, and him actually seeing that he would be a little different. We get that in their conversations over Zoom and with the Connect 4 game and all that stuff. But then we get the show of Mother's Milk, where he's trying to be better than his dad. There's a whole lot of that going on. But when their personal issues get in the way, we've got two different means of addressing it. We've got Butcher going, "Get away from me, you stupid kid. You're not even mine, and I hate you." Or "Go away, you stupid dog." That old trope. And then you got Milk going, "I'm doing everything I can to be there. Seriously."
Yeah.
And his ex-wife seriously going, "Well, we ain't getting back together, but do what you got to do to work this out." And I'm like,
Homie did try to be slick on it. He was like, I figured we could talk about some co-parenting stuff, at so-and-so. She was like, "That's where you want to go?" It's like, well, it's a great restaurant where we had our first date.
Yeah. And it's like, no, you ain't slick. You ain't slick.
Your boy corny though. And he was a little too hyped with Homelander, but that's a whole nother, we'll get there later.
Yeah. And then at the end of that, we've also got Homelander, who's going, "I want to be a father. Give me my child." And Butcher going, no. You are the last kid. You are the last person that kid needs to be around. So we got a lot. I think it's really smart that they broke up some of the difficulties of fatherhood and the psychology that goes with the difficulty of fatherhood between three characters and three scenarios. This kind of touches on pretty much most fears that fathers have, i.e., am I being good enough and setting a good example in Milk? Am I as bad as my father, and can I avoid it in Butcher? And no, I would be great at it because I think I'm good at everything, or the Dunning-Kruger effect in Homelander.
The only successful father is really Edgar. He's living it up. He's getting his granddad on, reading books. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the company side and the the politics side. Like he got it on lock.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought that up, because as soon as they brought up Edgar as a father, it's like, ooh, the most evil character in the whole show is actually the best dad and the best.
Reading books, hugging, even Nadia, aka Victoria, leaning her head on his shoulder and everything. Yeah. It works perfectly. It works wonderfully for him. And in that's when you see Huey, understandably so, be like, "Yo, the game's rigged." No, but like we gotta, we gotta do it this way. We gotta play dirty. We gotta do these things because we can't win any other way. Because they do kind of got it sewn up.
Well,
when you got someone who's definitely on a presidential run type track, or at least kind of like Speaker of the House type track, then you have the head corporation top Jeff Bezos-y guy. You know what I'm saying? It's they got it locked. You know what I'm saying? They got it locked. And I see Huey being like,
because I have to ask the question, at the end of the day, do they know what winning is at this point? With that first conversation that Huey has with Butcher in the bathroom, where it's like, we're taking the bad ones off the street, we're doing all this, we're actually winning. We're actually winning. We don't need to go out and kill every single super person in case they might be bad. And then he finds out that the person in charge that's actually getting the job done is a super And now he's like, oh, no. You know, so I think this show is doing a really good job of looking at what prejudice really looks like as well, you know, on a whole bunch of levels.
Wait, you mean are you trying to tell me that because of that he was prejudiced against super people?
No, yeah, actually, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wait, so you think that there's a super person on the boys team? It's not that she's a super person ahead of hunting supers. It's that she's Vought.
She's
lied,
not the
government.
and
she is
murdered
Vought.
mad people.
She's literally like the enforcer of Vought. Like, and he's thinking this whole time that they're doing stuff for the government, when in reality, they're just doing what
cleaning
Vought
up
wants.
Vought problems. Yeah, they're cleaning up. They're essentially cleaning up all of Vaught's message.
I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that she has powers. It's that she lied.
I'm not denying any of that stuff. But my question is this. If Huey had found out that the senator or the head of superhero relations, Victoria, was working for Vought, okay? If he had found that out and she not had superpowers, would Butcher have been the person that he went to? I mean, that's the whole thing. When I'm saying prejudice against superheroes,
I still think so.
I'm not
because
saying cross-burning white hood wearing things.
No, I get you.
But I
don't think it's
instead
about
of communicating or anything like that. It's go straight back to the violence.
Because remember at the end of last season, he went there because he's like, okay, I want to do this the right way, not
Without
the
blood
butcher
and
way,
guts.
right?
Yeah.
Now he gets there, starts doing that. Then he finds out that the people that he's been doing this for are the same people he's been trying to work against. So he realizes doing it the right way is not not how things get done.
No,
which could also weirdly be a statement.
It's not about her at all or him. I mean, he's dating a super. I don't think he thinks supers are inherently bad. I think he understands.
So are you implying that because
is
a
and
person dates someone that has prejudices against them, the person dating them can't have those prejudices? Are you actually pulling, I've had a black ex-girlfriend?
No, I'm not saying
really
that.
In that
but
way.
I am pointing that out in the information that we have given on the TV show with the television characters that we are talking about.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, again, the lens that I'm seeing this through, okay, the lens that I'm seeing this through is, I'll give him a pass on not talking to Victoria about it, specifically because her power is make your head explode.
But also she works for Vought.
Yeah,
how is he going to for Vought? So the question is, like, we've all used a whole lot of pronouns with this, and this is where I come from. Are they sure about what winning is? Because we've used a lot of pronouns. Okay, we want to do it the right way. Do what the right way? What is Huey's motive? And Huey's motive, so as far as we've seen it, is to put some sort of regulations down to make sure that these supers just can't run around willy-nilly, killing people with no consequences and all that. And the agency is doing it, not to its top efficiency, but it's a lot better than it was before the agency was there. And now he sees that this agency that's doing exactly what he said he wanted done is working for the corporation. He goes right back to the boys whose methods are homicide. Well, I gotta say that seems a whole lot of jumping into prejudicial. Now, I'm not saying that, like I said, I'm not saying he's burning cross and pointy hat type prejudice, but I am saying when it comes to, oh my God, I was wrong about what I thought, and his next step is back to violence.
Well, hold on, real quick. I see what you're saying. Yes, they because they were like 67% down or something, whatever. But that's basically a smoke screen for Vought to have control over both sides of the argument. So she killed a whole bunch of senators or mayors or whatever. And it was this isn't a situation
the wrong way.
This isn't a situation where she's like, hey, I'm just, I just wanted to start streaming. Let's see if we'll come back. And all right, cool. So the stream is looking cool, and it's seeming like stream is still existing and having. Are we back? Hold up now. I think we're back. Are we in fact back? Are we really back? Are we fake back? I don't know no more. Y'all in the comments, just put like a 1 up if we're back.
Oh,
I
okay.
think we're back. I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. So all right, cool. We're back. So because I know you were about to make a statement on what is it? On Nadia, aka Victoria, and kind of like Huey and his response. So you go ahead, even though I know Solar stepped away for a second, but go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, when he explained how he saw it, I understand why he feels that way. I saw it more of a like a, guy joins the police force because he wants to make a difference, and then finds out that all of his bosses are corrupt, and so you can't really do anything anyways. I took it more like that.
Okay.
And I do want to clarify that I don't think Butcher's straight up homicide way is the way to do it. Like, there's a way outside of the box that they could get stuff done without like dismembering people.
Yeah.
But also this universe is kind of, even though it's like ours, it is different from ours. Vought basically took over the United States and has a massive influence on the whole world. So like,
yeah,
there's a little more violence in this universe than there is in ours. But yeah, I'm thinking that the way this is going to resolve is that, a Butcher brings Huey a little bit more into like doing whatever is necessary, and then Huey's pulling Butcher a little back from like doing more than what is necessary, and they can find a clear path that
happy medium
feels
somewhere.
good but also gets stuff done.
Just a little bit of stuff done.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember, we found out, Victoria was blowing up people in the end of last season, and I was wondering how that would play out, or what they would, how long they would, kind of stretch it out. And they were like, no, episode 1, like, we're gonna let you know, like, we're not gonna, drag this out at all. We're not gonna waste your time. We're gonna get right into it. And not only is that's Huey's gonna see it and be like, what should I do? But it was interesting because dude came up to her office and was like, I want to speak to Nadia. And they were like, who is that? And he was like, no. And he was like, oh, no, that's Victoria. Now, I know it's hard because Huey, he kind of like, he really respects her. He lets her eat his sandwiches for some real reason. Like, we'll go and see if we can just keep rolling. Because it came back and now the stream is back. So now we're back. So, hey, he's overjoyed about where they're at. So I get that. But that guy, I mean, when he threw it off like, oh, he's probably off his meds, whatever. That guy did not look like he was crazy when he was in the waiting room. Like, like you've seen people that look like, hey, no, I'm being serious. I'm being level-headed. Like, that's a person named Nadia. Especially when he said, tell her it's Tony. Like, but maybe Huey, I don't know. Maybe Huey was really, I don't know. I mean, I feel like maybe if I was in Huey's place, I would do something similar where I wouldn't believe him, because I'd be like, nah, man, like why would this person be pretending to be she's a senator, she's like all out in front taking pictures and stuff, like so maybe I wouldn't trust him. I don't know. That is a tough one. I don't know if I would. Maybe I wouldn't trust him. But he did say tell her Tony. Tell her, so that's like a little extra bit. I don't know. Would you trust him? Would you or would you be like, this guy, just get him out of the office?
I don't know. I don't know. I probably I don't know if I would trust him. I may pay a little bit more attention. I don't know, just to see what's going on. I think it made sense that he like thought it was weird and followed her.
All right, cool. Clever Little Vixen comes in and says, I don't see what the big deal was. The work was still aligned to their cause. And yes, her being super does make it hypocritical, but so does taking V24. So I see where you're going, but for sake of argument, there's a difference in gaining power through the fear and hysteria around super murders that you in fact committed, and then using your agency to clean up your daddy's agency's problem without really affecting the main assets, i.e. Homelander or something like that. I think
the thing we have to remember is like in this world, super people are not just like people that are born with superpowers. All of the people with superpowers got it from Vought, from being Vought experiments, from their chemicals, right? So this is not like just random people. No, all of these super people in some way have a connection to Vought. And so that is like I think in the beginning, especially for Huey and Bush, being like, yeah, just screw the supers, we're just gonna kill them all. And I think as they understood more, as that revelation comes out that Vought is basically behind everything, I think the mission has changed to be kind of taking down Vought / killing Homelander, because you can't. They're kind of you can't do one without the other. Although with this season now, it seems like he's kind of also kind of turning away from Vought, which will be interesting. But yeah, that's the thing that's important. Like this isn't like mutants in like Marvel universe where some people are just born with it and some of them are good or some of them are bad. All of these
people were made.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And some of them are good and some of them are bad, but all of them were chosen and groomed by Vought for specific reasons.
And with that said, I want to jump on the topic of Homelander for a second. I see he feeling himself. All right, so he out there, he in them streets, he feeling himself. He like, go on and put out the tape. I don't care. I'll kill these people. Then I'll take out New York. Then I'll do this. Okay. Usually in stories, when someone starts getting too big for their britches, especially since we know that Homelander is sort of like the Superman of this universe, let's not guarantee ourselves that you're invincible. Because Superman has magic, he has mind control, he has kryptonite. I'm pretty sure there's something out there that maybe Edgar has that you don't know about, that you out here thinking like, yo, you know what I'm saying? What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Timberland energy every day. And somebody sitting back in the cut like, nah, player. I got you. I'm just chilling
the confidence that Edgar has to talk to him the way he does, face to face, or even just in the building, knowing that Homelander can probably hear him. There's got to be something. He has to have something.
Well, maybe he's a super and we don't know it. Because people are out here lying about being supers now.
Yeah, I mean, he owns the place that makes the juice, so he could very well be juiced up also.
Or he can have an antidote for the juice.
True, he could have like a neutralizer or something.
I mean, we already know that Edgar is essentially Lex Luthor on turbo. And
he's like Nick Fury / Lex Luthor / I don't know.
Exactly. Whoever. He's got that mastermind energy going, And so with that being said, you got a dude like Edgar doing the whole, I gotta say I particularly loved when he offered Starlight the job, and Starlight's like, oh no. Yeah, Starlight's like, no, we can't, we shouldn't talk to him like that. And he's like, whatever. I hope he can't hear me. What you gonna do? Like what? You know, I particularly did like that. So when it came down to, yeah, when it came down to Edgar being, oh well, so I guess no more camera. So yeah. So when Homelander's like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll be the big evil guy, you know, I will be the BBEG because nobody can stop me. I don't think Edgar suffers from so much hubris that he wouldn't have a backup plan for Homelander. You know, like we've seen he can do a lot. We've seen there's a lot that he can do, and we haven't really seen his weaknesses except the psychological ones. You know,
and I mean, he did make that statement. He was like, you know, I think he was talking about Homelander, basically like saying he thinks power is this.
yes,
And he was like,
bending the world to your will. And I'm going, yeah, that was very Kaiser Soze. You know, you don't need guns or drugs or gangs. You just need the will to do what the other guy won't.
Yeah, that's why I think it's likely that he'll have either like a neutralizer or somebody else that he knows is strong enough to take on Homelander on his side, because his power, he's like he's the ultimate stand-in for like capitalism in this show, right? Because he's got his fingers in everything, and his power is the influence that he has and the money over other people, right? So I don't think it would make too much sense for he himself to have powers, but yeah, like you said, I would be very shocked with how they've built up the character so far if he really doesn't have a backup plan and thinks that because he can use that influence ultimately over Homelander. Because I think that's also a very interesting dichotomy of this idea of like man trying to control God, basically, right? Because like, yes, you have these things that influence him and maybe something to fight him, but outside of that, like he kind of can just do whatever he wants. And that has to be something that he's thinking about all the time.
But you do have, because, and this is something that kind of messes you, Nate, on Diabolical. So we don't know where Black Noir is. Like, we don't know where he's at. And we know, at least from the show, the animated series, that he was kind of like there to kind of like watch him and make sure he ain't go too crazy.
Yeah.
So maybe, especially with the flashback to Nicaragua, maybe that's his like, yo, you think he on a 7? No, he's really there to take you out whenever I say so. Like, maybe that's it. And maybe Black Noir is like mad sweeter than like we think. Like, we know he's like got his snake eyes on, but like maybe he's mad.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
nicer.
we haven't seen that much of him, but we have seen him tank some crazy hits and be totally fine.
Especially the bombs in whoever's mama's house, wherever they was at. Was it Butcher's mom's house that he came in and they set off all the bombs and he was still like standing? So like, you know, maybe that's what he's there for, you know?
Yeah.
And at least, you know, I think he's setting himself up for some embarrassment in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we just
whenever
see
someone's
that...
like, no one can stop me, I'm the best in the world, I'll kill everybody, you can't, and then somebody's in the back like,
also too, we have
sure?
someone like Homelander's very rash, very impulsive, doesn't really think things through that much, and like he can be malicious, but it's all very much emotionally driven. Whereas we see with Edgar, especially with this, you know, last episode finding out about Naughty and stuff, like not only is he a planner that has people in place everywhere, but he plans far ahead, right? Like planting that seed then is just now coming to fruition, but it's very, very useful, you know.
He is very much Commander Long Game. He really is.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, I especially with what we saw last episode, he's got a special bond with Noir, it seems like. So I think that's not a bad hypothesis. That could be true. But I don't know. I almost want like the video to get leaked just to like push Homelander to see what's going to happen. But I also feel like even if they do have something to stop him, like he could still do a lot of damage before that happens.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, yeah, Stan could have his neutralizer or have, Black Noir, whoever, to fight him. But like, if he's on the other side of the planet and just start laser and stuff, like you got to get there, right? Like, it's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, unless there is like a implant in his body, which reminds me. So do you think if the tiny guy went inside Homelander and then got big, do you think that would kill him, or would he just like stretch out? Like, what do we think would happen there?
Another YouTube channel did a whole video about this concerning
Did they really?
Ant-Man, Thanos, and
yes, yeah, I've seen that one.
And I seriously think the same thing would happen with Homelander and all that super strength and vulnerability thing.
They did keep him though. Remember, he was supposed to go down, and maybe Edgar's like, you can get small enough to deliver a poison, or
that's seriously what I think is coming down. And one of my favorite Justice League comics called The Rock of Ages, they showed how the Atom could kill Darkseid, and it essentially went to him going in Darkseid's body and making his way to his brain. And we know Homelander has like all this invulnerability and stuff, but we don't know what his internal organs are like. Is it just a skin thing? So I mean, the whole Final Crisis, I think not Final Crisis, but Identity Crisis, really came about from somebody actually walking on a person's brain. So since they didn't get rid of the termite, I could totally see him going into Homelander and just doing a tap dance on on the medulla, and Homelander's body just ceasing.
Well, I mean, he could just go inside him and make him feel good.
I mean, that's kind of the thing I see. But again, I trust that Edgar has a plan. And as far as Homelander being around the world, Vought is a multinational corporation. They're like Fox or Microsoft, you can't escape them on the planet. You really can't. So given the way that Edgar plans things out, he's probably got, if I were in that position, Homelander would not be my most powerful asset. My most powerful asset would be in Zimbabwe, living a life, just living a life. And if Homelander got a little too much uppity, then I would call Shaquan. And Shaquan would come in.
You pick up the phone, activate Agent Zero. Hang up.
As much as
somebody's eyes just glaze over and they fly off. It's like,
yeah, exactly. As much as I hate to say this, it is an execute Order 66 moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a god we're talking about. I'm the more that I'm thinking about it, if he doesn't literally already have something in Homelander's body, this is a bad situation, because even if there is someone powerful enough to fight Homelander, the damage from that fight would kill a whole bunch of people.
Or they could do it the Dragon Ball way, where they just go out to like a field and like some mountains.
Yeah, because Homelander's totally going to be like, yeah, let's get away from all these innocent bystanders. I totally don't want to kill them too.
See, you say this, but if the X-Men taught us anything about superpowers, there is one character in X-Men who has a superpower that's very, very subtle and can end anyone. And that character is Leech. I mean, him being around just robs people of their superpowers and makes him a normal person. So it wouldn't be a fight. It would literally be, this guy shows up, powers are neutralized. Or, sorry, should I say Eraserhead from My Hero Academia for all the young kids out there? Just turn off the superpowers, shoot him with a 45, and then go back to making pancakes. I mean, all of these things are possible. You know, and if I were in Vought's position, I would have spent a long time while Homelander was growing up trying to groom someone with that power under my control. Just the ability to turn them off. You know, because one thing about most superheroes is they've forgotten what it's like to be regular. You know, I mean, that's the real big thing. It's like, okay, well, Superman lost his invulnerability. Now he gets a bloody nose. And that's going to take about 5 seconds for him to be like, ow. So, you know, and while he's going, ow, light him up with characters like Gunpowder or Huey or Billy Butcher or anybody in the show that uses guns. I think they might be able to find one.
All right, now to jump into a next topic, Gunpowder, Payback, you know, Soldier Boy, all of that. That opens up a lot of doors, and they end up talking about a lot. We go from, you know, crack epidemic, we go to, you know, of course, Soups once again trying to be in the military. We deal with, of course, you know, Butcher hitting the juice, you know, for the first time. And you got what Queen Maeve is giving them the stuff. Like, but at the same time, look, this mom is crazy. All right, look. All right. I know I can't take him, but hey, look, we gotta do something. So I am happy that we see that, because this brings us deeper into kind of legacy heroes for this universe, which I like a lot. Also, Eric, I see Bobby's here. You know, we got Dean. Yo, where's Sam at? That's all I'm saying. Where's Sam? Bring the fam back together. That's all I'm saying. Where's Sam at? But for someone who doesn't know anything about Soldier Boy, correct me if I'm wrong. Soldier Boy is essentially like the first Homelander, right? Am I kind of getting that vibe?
He's Captain America. He's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Captain America, but he came out in the 50s. So he's kind of like Marvel's second Captain America, or Captain America before Marvel did their timeline thing to where everything happened a couple of years ago. So he was Captain America versus communists instead of versus Nazis.
Okay.
You know.
And yeah, that scene, and I mean, I know Hollywood has to throw it on, but it's like, man, none of the heroes were like worth anything. Like, I mean, there wasn't a good one in the bunch. Like,
yeah.
And I know Hollywood's like, we gotta, you know, push this home that superpowers, like, they're, you know, mostly all bad people, but dang, man. Like,
well, in truth,
they were just all super bad. Like, there's not one person that's like, hey, guys,
I would say Crimson, what's her name, turned out to be pretty good. She was just incompetent because she didn't have, Crimson Countess. I would say she was good. You know, she was incompetent in the scene that she was in, which is what Mallory was saying in the first place. And I don't know if we can trust her narrative, because spies lie. That's what they do. But quite honestly, you know, she didn't seem like a terrible person, but she also seemed pretty bad considering how quickly she is to use deadly force. And this is one of my problems with Garth Ennis writing superheroes. It's like he either writes them when they start off good and then they slowly become evil, or he writes them as evil across the board. And when he doesn't do one of those two extremes, he makes them idiots. Like our boy,
we got Starlight.
Adrian.
You know, we got Starlight holding out hope.
I see Starlight going bad. I really do.
Really?
I see her trying to stay good.
We ain't got nobody else.
I see her trying to stay good because, but I see her failing in the same way that Huey did. Like, the only person who was like on the moral upwards, like the high moral ground in the show has been Mother's Milk. And even he's fallen a little bit. It's like, this is a good dude with good intentions and a good heart, and now watch the world break him. And this is how Garth Ennis writes, which is one of my problems with his writing style. You know, he takes altruism and says it can't exist. You know.
All right. Okay. Well,
You know.
the show what I like here is that not only are we, I guess, seemingly possibly wrapping up the issue with Milk and his father and everything, and maybe giving some closure there, but also we're getting deeper into the spy side with Grace and seeing that Edgar and Grace knew. So this is another thing. You're like, oh, so Edgar know everybody. So like, you're like, oh, so Edgar know, like, that's like the Nick Fury side of like Edgar, where it's like, so this dude like really does know everybody. Like he's always around. He's always been there. Like, you can't get away from this dude.
Again, back to that theme of corporate overlord. You know, the big thing that this show does that I like very much is it shows that America is a real oligarchy. It really, the government doesn't run stuff, their donors do. And Vought is like, you know, that one scene where he was talking about the V-24. And the senator was like, hold up. So you don't know if you can control this? And he's like, so how's your campaign going?
He's like, oh, it's only 24 hours. It's all good. Do you know what you can do in 24 hours? Like, he's like, it's only 24 hours. They'd be all right. Like,
yeah. And then it was like, well, I don't know if the government is going to be doing this. And he's like, speaking of government, how's your last campaign? I hear that there's somebody that might be trying to primary you. It'd be a shame if they got a real big donation to their super PAC and you didn't get one to yours.
Yeah,
but you know, 24 hours ain't a big thing. After 24 hours, they just go back to normal. How's that?
And we don't even know how many people, since we're talking lightly and loosely about politics, we don't know how many senators or congressmen and women that are like in his pocket right now. We have no idea.
I'm sure it effectively is all of them.
like we have no idea. So this guy is really running the board, and you look into stuff like, all right, knowing the CIA, the way they ran things there, the way they cleaned things up for Victoria, it does make me wonder, since I'm guessing, and you guys were talking offline a little bit about Soldier Boy, if he is alive, which I guess signs are pointing to, yes.
Oh, he's alive. Yeah,
he's definitely alive. What does that do? What does that do to Vought? And like, because of course, this is not the first story that will come up to be funny from Vought. And like, I mean, of course, they'd be spinning, but their spins don't always work. But is it a situation where, hey, they're just too big? It doesn't matter. Even if the spin doesn't work, they'll just respin. And, you know,
and truth,
they'll be all right.
It would not surprise me if the whole thing was Soldier Boy and Payback looking for the finger quotes weapon that killed Soldier Boy. That wouldn't surprise me if it was all a Vought machination to keep Homelander in his place. You know, I mean, seriously, it's that 4D chess that real masterminds do, you know. Because I mean, I completely see that whole thing, especially given that Vought and Victoria, or Vought and what's her name, Mallory, that Vought and Mallory have known each other for decades.
Yeah, decades now.
You know,
let's see. There's so much to get to, but guys, we due to you know, Vought Soul, stuff like that, my beef between them. You know, Ashley was tripping and, you know, all that. We have been on long, but I'll throw this to Nate. Are there any final thoughts, any things that we haven't jumped on yet? Because, you know, unfortunately, due to, you know, the technical difficulties, we ran long.
I just think they're really just doing a great job of setting up Homelander. Like they've so far have kind of been restrained in showing how much he really can do. And I think especially with that last episode and like him making the deep eat Thomas and all that stuff, like
Yo, that was crazy.
it was like, it's funny on one hand, but also like it's kind of terrifying. Like I want to say too, like someone in the chat was saying like Ashley is so annoying. Like, yeah, Ashley's annoying, but also like everyone in that room is essentially being held hostage. That director guy, the camera guy, all those people, when they're like, yes, Homelander, that was great, let's do it again. Like if they say no, they're gonna get lasers through their head. Like or you know, like, so you have to cut them a little bit of slack, right? You know, there's a little bit of Stockholm syndrome going on in that building.
Did you guys talk about A-Train and his brother while I was having technical difficulties over here?
No, but I did want to get into that before we like really go for real. That would be the last thing that I want to like really hit home.
Yeah. Well, hey, you were saying, yeah, is there anything we missed? Oh yeah.
But I wanted to hit on that. But go ahead, because you know I have thoughts. But go ahead, Solar. Tell me how you're feeling about the closeness to culture that A-Train shows.
So,
oh boy.
As I have said on this channel quite a few times, but specifically when we were talking about Atlanta, I don't think I would pass the test to get the grant. All right. I can't name 4 things that go good in Hennessy. My shoe game ain't on point. I wear boots that go almost up to my knees. All right. However, that being said, I am just a little bit more down with the culture than A-Train. Okay, just a little bit more.
Just
down.
A little.
Just a little. Just.
I would say
if my camera was working, you would see that my hands are about 3 feet apart right now. Because I really like that poignant scene between A-Train and his brother, where it was like, you know, no, that costume is garbage, but you want to help out with the people, come with me down to the track, talk to the kids, you know, or use your platform to say something about this thing previously happening. Like this dude lived around the corner and he wasn't stalking a lady, he was walking home from the grocery store. So if you're down with the cause and you want to do the A-Train Africa thing, how about just talking about your people from the neighborhood? And A-Train was like, oh yeah, I'm down with, oh, well, I don't know about all that. See, I know him, but I don't know him.
It's a perfect statement on Black celebrity, especially in this era now. And like when they started doing this with A-Train, I'm like, man, have y'all watched a couple NERDSoul streams? Because I'm talking about Black celebrity and Black celebrity culture, specifically around activism in this era many times. When it's like, yeah, you know, for the culture, you know what I'm saying? Get an African suit. I'm gonna have, even Ashley was like, it's a game about slavery? Like, you know, Ashley was like, I don't know if that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're so disconnected and you're so wrong. The time it would take to tell you you're wrong and display, it's just like, no, I'm just gonna move on. Like the statements we've gotten from the likes of, like, you know what, I won't even, you know the celebrities over the last,
let's just say there's
4 years.
A big distance between Will Smith and Nipsey Hussle, you know. Yeah, the time it would take to like deal with something like a statement from either like Lil Wayne or Terry Crews or whatever, it's like, you know what, it would take so long. Look, just forget it. I'll just go ahead and try to organize with the people that I know and do something in my neighborhood or locally, because to try to focus on that, it would take too long. But you see the brother, because the brother's like, hey, look, man, all the camera stuff, look, I know you, all right? We here. Like, yo, if you want to, why don't you just say something about this? Oh, well, you know the way my bread is buttered. Why don't you come down? Yeah, why don't you come down and help me coach kids at the track? You know, it's like you're the super speedster from the neighborhood, and you're not going down to the part of the neighborhood where kids run, and running is your thing.
But then you want our support behind you. You know what I mean? You know, the hood don't never see you, but then all of a sudden you got some kind of black initiative. You want the hood behind you.
Right.
Hey, A-Train runs really fast, but he is not your savior. Okay.
Yeah. He is not a role model.
I've said it before. This show is a scathing review of capitalism. It is very anti-capitalist, and part of that is black capitalism. And this, I think, is an excellent. He said he could have just said the like Michael Jordan thing, but like they literally said it. It's like, you know, everybody loves A-Train. You know, oh come on, man, really, dude. Yeah, it's always it's not that surprising given what we know of the character, but I am glad that they're like addressing it, and it's nice to have the brother character there who has some semblance of like sense and like knows what's going on in the world. So I don't know, maybe A-Train will actually come around in the end and have an actual, you know, personality shift and a priority shift. But
yeah, because right now it's definitely the vibe of, all right, cool, my career ain't really working like that. Cool, I'm gonna do the black lane. Yeah, it's but very haven't much you been selling Black Death for like the last 15 years? Nah, man, it's about black upliftment now. It's like, no, I know it's about black upliftment. I'm asking you if you know. What's it about?
Yeah. Do you know what the point is? It's very much giving me Kanye West going back to Chicago vibes. And like, everyone's mad at me. Let me go back home, and I'm a Jesus guy. And it's like, all right, dude, how about you just be normal? Can you do that? Can you just be normal?
That's the thing. That is normal for him. And I think that's what this is really showing. Like, I remember all the way back at season 1 where A-Train was like, yeah, don't mess with the money. You're messing with the money. It's all about the money.
Yeah, he was. And I don't mind if you a character that's all about the money, but like now the money dried up, now you down.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's part of it, right? Is like we live in a culture where we are driven to have that train of thought. And let's be real, especially for black men in America, because of the things that we have to overcome inherently, that grind culture sometimes can be even more present, right? So he's a product of his environment, which I am hoping that means he can change, right? It's not that that's who he is, it's that that's the only thing that he has known. And now he has to, because when he, you know, got the powers and got successful and stuff, he was removed from the reality that his brother had of like living real life and like struggling and, you know, all those experiences and stuff. He lived off in a bubble world. So now that he's forced out of that because he doesn't have that, you know, success anymore, now he's like trying to relate to people in the real world without understanding, you know, their perspectives and where they're coming from.
Right. I mean,
because he's not the fastest anymore, and I think everybody in the tower knows, and he knows he's not the fastest. And then the doctor says, "Look, if you run again, you could die." Like that's that. So. At least he did say he's off the drugs. He's not on the drugs anymore. But like he could die the next time he runs. And
which is how I think they're gonna wrap up his storyline, because any excuse that this show has for making a person explode into viscera, it uses.
I actually agree with you. I think I think in what will be the final confrontation with Homelander or whatever, he's gonna like use his speed to like sacrifice himself to like do something good, like selfless for other people for once, and then kind of go out at least on like a good note. That would be my guess.
You know,
I mean, he has to die also too, because he killed Huey's girlfriend, so he has to die. Yeah. Before the show's over.
I agree with you. I think he's gonna actually he's gonna make that change. But
especially because Homelander's been like being really mean to him.
Yeah, homie turned. Yo, all right. So I ain't going front. He hit me with something that my older cousin did one time. He was like, "What you say? Say it again." Say it one more time. You know when you be like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. And they're like, what? It's like, oh, nothing. No, I ain't saying nothing. Yo, he can't. Yo, he rolled back. Part of me was like, yo, man, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Put your foot down.
Don't let him do you like this. Come on, man. You A-Train. But then I was like, you're
Nah,
also a
you
sucker.
A-Train.
So, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you're also a sucker.
Especially when
so
he
it's
put him
kinda
in
like,
that chokehold or headlock.
yeah.
I'm like sitting up going, I would never sell my soul to a corporation on that level, and my big thing though is I would be vlogging all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all the time.
Give
I'd
me a
be
body
like,
cam.
yeah, what's up?
Yep.
What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And people got to see, like, on me would be the camera so that people would see what kind of person Homelander was. And I'd be like, man, you were a jerk. What you say? I said you was a jerk. And then when he popped my head like a pimple on my vlog, I would have the last laugh because I am willing to die for spite.
But yeah, I think you're right. Since the doctor came out and said if you run one more time, you could die. I think that's going to be the next time he runs will be to like save someone or stop Homelander from doing something, or it's going to be like a valiant. I think he actually might turn. He'll look at the man in the mirror, a long hard look, and hopefully between that and Malcolm Barrett's character, being like, man, come on, man, you don't care about Africa. Like between him, his brother, and Malcolm Barrett's character, taking a real deep look at himself and being like, you know what, I'm a fraud. Like, I mean, not that I'm not a hero, like super speed, like I have that, but I'm a fraud. And then maybe change it. Maybe, you know what, maybe change it.
Yeah, but this is also a story from an Irish writer that didn't grow up in the United States. So his change will last about 42 seconds before he's off the show permanently in a
Garth is not running the show.
Huh?
Garth is not running the show.
Still, they're not. I don't see Amazon.
There might be hope. Eric Kripke is the developer. He developed the show.
They've already like changed so many characters. Like Nadia's character is a man in the comics. Like there's a lot of changes that they've made that I know for a fact that Ennis would be like, no. So
well, I'm gonna take some time to jump on your hope train, but my hope train is in the station when it comes to this particular point. Yeah, because again,
he's gonna change, man. He's gonna be whack for a long time, but I think he'll change.
Yeah, because I mean, it's interesting because I first saw this actor on Survivor's Remorse, the show that's absolutely not about LeBron James. And I'm like, oh, you're playing this guy again. All right, you're pretty good at playing this guy. All right, cool. But when it comes down to it, I'm just kind of going, I'm one of the last people on earth to say that somebody's sold out. I'm like, but there is a level. Like, I don't believe that anyone from the disenfranchised sectors of American culture automatically sell out when they succeed, because succeeding in itself takes a lot of compromise. There is a point before selling out where you buy in. And you could really see where all of the 7 sold out, I really liked how Starlight and Maeve talks about the last time they actually saved someone, because
that was
all
a
their
good scene.
heroics, all their heroics are staged. And when Starlight and Huey had the conversation shortly after the bowling alley, and she's like, I can't even remember the last time I saved someone, and Homelander has that birthday save, but that's really about it.
Well, quotation of the save. But
so,
with that said, guys, we know we've been out here long. We've been out here for a minute. I apologize for, look, when you fighting with Vought, you just one man by himself, it's not easy. All right? But I'm still, I'm still going to work hard to, combat those problems. I'm going to throw it to Solar Grey. Where can they find you?
Honestly, they can find me in 15 minutes over at twitch.tv/BID_P or on my YouTube channel, Solar Gray. Today we're talking about more game stuff and more tools on writing your own stories and creating characters within stories, either for RPGs, and of course RPG culture, comic culture, and a whole bunch of nerd stuff. You were actually the inspiration for today's episode with our conversation the other day. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I got an idea.
Tune in about 15-20 minutes at twitch.tv/B. Oh, thank you so much. Who was that? All right, I just got a new follower, so that's all cool. Yeah, so come on down to twitch.tv/BID_P, and yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Cool. All right, Nate.
You can find me everywhere, all the social medias at Dog Like Nate, dog with 2 G's.
Yeah. So, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz, everything. Look, hit the like button. If you want to fight against Vaughn, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe. Share this, all right? Because they try to hold me down, all right? They're trying to stop me, all right? Edgar, all of them, you know, Homelander, all of them, they're trying to stop me. But you, all right, you can be the change. Be the change you want to see in the world. Subscribe. If you don't subscribe, just really think about it real hard and maybe subscribe later. I mean, come on, man. Come on. You ain't doing that. You're sitting on the couch, just chilling, watching TV. Subscribe.
You know, I have to say that I like that notion. I would even subscribe to your point of view.
Yes,
yes, I do. I believe I will, you know, I think I will. I think I follow your logic, you know, so.
Why thank you?
Subtle.
Yes.
Why thank you? All right, so guys, we're gonna leave y'all with some dope beats, some black comics. Until next time, shouts out to Blurtish for helping out the kids get their literacy on a whole bunch of cool comic books. And Changa 2 is out, which is good. And I think that might be all the new stuff that's out right now. So until next time, which will be Friday, y'all stay real. Peace.
See you guys
much love
later.
to all y'all. Thanks.
You will remain in the past. Can I get a fucking yeah?
day, gentlemen, this is a pre-recorded briefing made prior to your departure, in which for security reasons of the highest importance has been known on board during the mission. Now that you are in Jupiter's space and the entire crew is revived, it can be told you. 18 months ago, the first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered. It was buried 40 feet below the lunar surface, near the crater Patron. Except for a single, very powerful radio emission aimed at Jupiter, the 4-million-year-old black monolith has remained completely inert. Its origin and purpose still a total mystery.
You're listening to my daddy, All Gorilla MC.
Good day, gentlemen. This is a pre-recorded briefing made prior to your departure, in which, for security reasons of the highest importance, has been known on board during the mission. Now that you are in Jupiter's space, and the entire crew is revived, it can be told you. 18 months ago, the first evidence of intelligent life off the Earth was discovered. It was buried 40 feet below the lunar surface, near the crater Patron. Except for a single, very powerful radio emission aimed at Jupiter, the 4-million-year-old black monolith has remained completely inert. Its origin and purpose still a total mystery.
the man, yes, sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.